The Laguna Seca circuit is a classic, 2.2 miles, undulating through the Monterey hillsides of California. First of all through the Andretti hairpin, then fast-flowing 3, 4 and 5, before heading uphill towards turn 6 and the Rahal straight that leads to the famous corkscrew, dropping over 155 feet down to the right-hander rainy curve before the very tight last corner, turn 11, and that is a lap of this classic California circuit. Hey everyone, welcome to the WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, and a beautiful day here. It's clouded over since this morning, but we're still running strong here as we look to high down on the paddock here with SVRA and Trans Am. But coming up is our feature race of the day. Really looking forward to this because obviously a lot of interest and intrigue in Trans Am. This is the third round of the championship, and already it's heating up nicely. So we have obviously been racing here and getting ready to go. I will be joined by Adam Andretti in a moment, but first let's take a look at how we got to the grid for today, and it all started in qualifying in near perfect conditions. Let's take a look at how they qualified for TA2. Texan Edward Savagian was on song with an excellent 4th place overall, and halfway through the session, Matos in the 3-dimensional services Ford Mustang topped the times and looked like he would take the pole. But in typical Skeen style, on the very last lap of the session, Skeen picked Rafa to the Motul pole position, with Matos having to settle for a front row start in second. California's Thomas Merrill was third and Savagian fourth. So another pole position for a delighted Liqui Moly Turn 14 distribution Chevrolet Camaro as Mike Skeen continues to dominate on both coasts. But the question is, can he do it in the backyard of the championship leader from Salinas, California, Thomas Merrill? That's the job for Mike Skeen, but I know Mike Skeen will be up for it, and he is getting ready to race. So let's head down to the grid where our man, Ben Sissel, is right there with the Liqui Moly team.
Thank you, Johnny. So glad to be here at the grid with TA2. Here we are with Mike Skeen. I think if anybody would have put money on qualifying yesterday after the 2019 performance, they would have put money on Thomas Merrill. But Mike Skeen, the Liqui Moly car, Stevens Miller Racing, they put together a near perfect lap. He qualified up front. Followed by him is Rafa Matos. Rafa kind of came out of nowhere out here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, put together another great lap. He had the pole for a while, and then Mike Skeen went back out and grabbed it from him just by 1/10 of a second. Then we have Thomas Merrill here. I'm going to talk to the hometown boy, Thomas Merrill. He can hear this track from his house. Thomas, you told me you were not happy with qualifying third.
No, Ben, I felt like we had a lot more for him, and we didn't do a good job. I didn't do a good job of putting my lap together. But the Coke guys gave me a great car. We're going to have a really good race car today. I'm looking forward to racing in front of my family and friends at home.
Nice. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've been paying attention to Thomas Merrill, you don't want to race Thomas Merrill mad. He does really well. You can tell by his body language he's a little bit angry at his qualifying. It's going to be crazy. 33 cars here. National Series, West Coast Series. I got to give it up to my buddy, Edward Savagian, qualifying 4th in his Big Machine Vodka. This might be the race that silver hair Michael Self and Tyler Casera put together something. They've had bad luck. They've been fast every race. Then they've had some bad luck. Then we've got Team SLR, Connor Mosak and Sam Mayer. But 33 cars out here about to take the green flag at this beautiful grid. It is going to be a lot of fun. Let's keep walking until they kick us out. How about that? Adrian Lostofsky, he told me this is his first time here. He's got a new crew with him. He's done a lot of time in sims. We've got Keith Prochuk. But again, 33 cars. Jonathan, they're starting their engines. I'm sending it back to you, buddy.
Great stuff as always. Ben Sissel in the heat of the moment as those beautiful Trans Am muscle cars roar into action and echo through the Monterey Hills. You can honestly, I've got goosebumps on my arms, and I'll tell you what, I can't wait for this race. We've got over 60 Trans Am cars here this weekend, and this is the biggest field we've ever had in TA2. And of course, we've mentioned the history before. We raced here in Trans Am in our 55-year history back in the late 60s when the likes of Donahue and, well, you name them, George Fulmer, everybody who's anybody has raced in Trans Am. But if you're talking about big names, well, there's only three corners named. One is Rainey, the other is Ray Hall, but the other, of course, is Andretti. So we are honored to have an Andretti with us. He is Adam Andretti, and he knows these guys like the back of his hand. He's raced them. He's currently 4th in TA, and he's alongside me, and I am delighted to have him alongside to enjoy this TA2 race. Adam, I know you're excited. The fact that you're in the booth means that you are ready to go and wanting to watch this. What are your thoughts on this massive field, on what is a very tough track to overtake on?
Well, first of all, thank you, Jonathan. I'm excited to be here. As you can see, when they fired the engines, I stood right up here in the booth to get my eye on it. You know, it's unpredictable here. If you were just to look at the sheets, the time sheets of how the weekend has gone so far, it would just tell you that. You know, you couldn't have predicted who was going to top the sheet in each one of those sessions. So, you know, Matos looks great.
Yeah.
Merrill, obviously, really, really strong. And then Mike Skeen, you can obviously never count out. But that's not just it. You know, Edward Savajan, probably the best run I've seen him have. You know, best all-together weekend right now. So looking for him to put it together. And, you know, as I'm sure I don't need to make clear that hairpin isn't named after me, right?
I do realize that, yes. There's a few Andrettis that have raced, I believe.
Amazing,
starting with
yeah.
Mario.
Of course, yeah. No, there's a big story of why that's the Andretti hairpin, but
we can get to that in a red flag. In fact, and I want to talk to you about Aldo and Mario coming here a few years ago, later in the day.
Of course we can. But yeah, they're rolling off here, Jonathan, and it's going to be an exciting race. You know, Laguna always is a place that gives us excitement no matter what's running here, and with this TA2 class, just the depth of the field and the cars, the way they drive, this is going to be one heck of a show for us.
Well, we had a race at Sonoma. I say we. The championship had a West Coast race at Sonoma. But to just get up onto speed, the likes of Chris Dyson and Hamid Al-Masood and Connor Mosack, Scott Lagasse were all involved in that. So they are definitely primed and ready to go. And with the likes of these youngsters like Connor Mosack and Sam Mayer, they've not raced here. But they've been working with Scott Lagasse, and they've been here all week because they were in Sonoma last week. So, and you know, it's an interesting time. It may be only the third. Oh, somebody's getting a push here. That's not good news. I'm not sure who that was. But what interests me about this round 3 race, it's early on in the season, but right now, Thomas Merrill has a good, strong lead. And I'm looking, you mentioned Rafa. Rafa Matos and Mike Skeen need a win, because they're there and they're certainly in the hunt, but this would be a great opportunity to kind of take it to Thomas on home soil, because we know how good he is here. 2019, when we came back here, Thomas was the winner. He grew up racing here. His mum used to race Porsches here. His dad races Porsches here. She used to take him around at lunchtime in the sidecar, in the spare seat. So he literally grew up here. And he is absolutely odds on. And you heard in that interview with Ben, he's not happy with his qualifying because he wanted the pole. And Skeen just did what Skeen does best, which is just got it on the very last lap by a 1/10 of a second. Here's the famous corkscrew. What's this like to actually drive down?
It's like a roller coaster ride. You know, it's all about confidence and knowing that you know where the track is going to go, since the track doesn't move from lap to lap. So as long as you know where it's going to go, it's attacking it with comfort and confidence and trusting that. And it really plants. Get a big compression at the bottom of the hill, and you can really, really attack the bottom of the corkscrew when you've done it just right. But yeah, it's a fantastic part of this track. It's You know, it sets up a risky passing zone, so always exciting racing up at the top of the course.
We were up there yesterday separately, but we were both watching up there, and I noticed that, I mean, I've done a lot of motorbike racing here, and of course motorbikes, you know, have more leeway to take different lines, but I noticed a lot of guys were taking different lines. What is the perfect line through there without scrubbing the bottom or slowing your speed? I mean, is there a key to taking the corkscrew and getting it right?
Oh yeah, like any other. I think every driver has their different philosophies down there. You know, once you get to the crest there, obviously you're lining up and you're pointing. There's a tree that you can aim at, and if you're aimed at that tree and the wheel's straight, you're going to hit right down the bottom of the apex of 8A, which is the bottom of the corkscrew, and then you can really just kind of plant the horsepower down and hit it from there. I'm sure on a bike it's much different on where your range of vision is and things of that sort. But yeah, you said it. You know, if Rafa or Mike Skeen here really need to pull off a win in championship, and it's not just this race and the points and what's at stake, but it's the rest of the season. You know, This is a mental game that we play here in motorsports, and anytime that you can take away a driver's best chance that they feel of just really dominating a race, you really kind of can climb inside that head a little bit, and that can work to your advantage for the rest of the year. So this is an important race all the way around. Mike Skeen took that first step in qualifying. You can already hear the frustration a little bit in Thomas's voice that he didn't get the most out of himself. So as long as he doesn't beat himself up too much, give himself the confidence, because he's a great driver. He knows this place like the back of his hand. He needs to just go in there with that confidence, like he knows he can do it.
Well, massive field, as we've mentioned. What about a surprise? You mentioned Edward Savagian, the Texan, who got his best qualifying I think I've ever seen him get in fourth. He's definitely up for it. There he is in the all-black, the Big Machine vodka car, along with Scott Borchetta, but who's further back in the grid. But what about surprises? Is there anybody who could potentially come through? What about a Carl Weidquist, fastest in the West Coast?
Yeah, there's definitely, you know, this is TA2 we're talking about. You know, these leaders could do anything, too, because they're fighting for their life out there, and that could just really open up the door for anyone else. But yeah, I think, you know, any of these cats can come up here and be strong competitive, you know. You got Iron Man, Tom Sheehan, you know, you don't want to count him out of having a good run here, hopefully, and things like that. There's definitely some people there. The dark horse that I have, like you said, is Savagian.
Yeah.
I love the weekend I've seen him put together so far, and if he can continue that, we're going to be in some great shape.
All right, well, talking to great shape, you can see that the grid is forming as we come into turn 11 for the start of our TA2 100-mile race. On the left-hand side in all yellow, Rafa Matos will try and take the lead away from Mike Skeen as they dive up the hill under the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca Bridge and down to the Andretti curve for the first time. Skeen has the lead. Here comes Merrill up the inside. Three-way into Andretti. Merrill will take the lead brilliantly.
That's the confidence that we're talking about right there. And Thomas Merrill, beautiful, beautiful move into turn one.
Rafa Matos will get his Brazilian blood boiling after that, because he was duffed up unceremoniously. He slots into third place, but Merrill, the Salinas Maestro, is off and running into turn three, leading this race from Skeen and Matos. The rest of the group following on in fourth place, Michael Self leading that group.
Yeah, Connor Mosak got another great start. Sam Mayer looks like he's pumping his way through the field here as well. So a couple of great starts there for the Lagacy cars.
Yeah, I talked to Scott Lagacy, of course, who's kind of mentoring both those youngsters. They're in their teens. They've got big futures ahead of them. Sam Mayer's already performing very well in the truck series for NASCAR, and I think he's using this opportunity to learn Sonoma, to learn Laguna, and learn his future quite literally here in Trans Am, and we're delighted to have him. We've had many drivers have done exactly that, like Christopher Bell and a few others over the years, and it's a great breeding ground to learn how to race stock cars fast on a road course. And of course NASCAR now going to Dakota and many other tracks like Watkins Glen and so forth. It's a great place to ply their trade, so to speak. On board with Rafa Matos, looking for the overtake on Skeen, does it at 11. Classic.
Absolutely, classic move. Beautiful move by Matos. He's been itching to get it by him. Skeen was very defensive, getting up into the corkscrew. I think that move might have happened a couple corners sooner. So look for Matos to put the targets out there on Thomas, because Thomas was taking off. And Rafa saw that, did not want to see that happen, because talking to Rafa, he's very confident in his chances this weekend.
I'm surprised Skeen didn't defend a little harder than he did there, but there you go. Michael Self going well. And right up there is Connor Mosak in fifth place, his first run. Edward Savagian down in sixth, got slotted back a little bit, now racing with Tyler Casera for 7. Tyler looking for his first podium here at Laguna Seca, lives here on the West Coast. Excuse me, he doesn't live here on the West Coast, he lives in Wisconsin. What am I talking about? But Tyler Casera looking for a good result here, and one of the Mike Cope cars, that's the number 9 of Keith Prochuk.
Sure. Yeah, beautiful move by Keith. That was a nice classic move underneath. Getting around, I believe, was that Doug that he got around?
So,
yeah, Doug Peterson is under attack again.
On board with Drew Nobauer, who is a West Coast specialist in TA2. We have several different championships, but this is the all-national championship, and it gets the very best out of them. We're delighted to welcome the West Coast drivers, as I just saw Michelle Abate, who's, of course, had a great season last year. She is a local girl down here in Vegas. I say local, but at least a little bit closer to California than a lot of these guys. Through goes to number 8.
I was talking to Michael Fine, and he's a West Coast guy, and that's what I was, 79 miles an hour on the exit there of turn number 11, so that's pretty good exit speed. But yeah, I was talking to him, and I was saying, you don't want to be the West Coast guy that doesn't show up at the national event, because it makes you elevate your level.
Yeah.
And so you get introduced to new people, and you talk around the paddock, and you pick up different setups and different philosophies. So it's great to see these mixed together, and I think it only really elevates the West Coast group and brings them to another level.
Well, that's exactly what Michelle Abate told me. She came to COTA last year, and she got involved in the national event, did well. She's now got sponsorship from Lucas Oil. So, you do get noticed when you kind of put your head above the pulpit a little bit and don't just race regionally or locally, and you really put yourself out there, and she's done just that.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, we love to see that. She's running 20th right now, which is great, and still keeping a solid run right in there. And you see that once Rafa got around and in second place, he really started to put the targets out. Is closing the gap here on Thomas Merrill as they come through the corkscrew. And I tell you, Mike Skeen has got...
Oh, no! Talking of Michelle Abate, I've done it. I've jinxed her.
Yeah. I
man.
wouldn't say that. I don't think none of us had the power for that, but I get it. But yeah, that's a darn shame. It looks like they had a little bit of contact there, racing hard. I'd love to see if we could find a replay on that, because I'd like to know.
Adam, give me a systems check here. This usually ends with a safety car at this point. We're not sure yet. We haven't seen any yellows yet. Thomas Merrill leading the race. He's got a good lead. But all of that adrenaline, all that good work and goodwill is going to come to naught if the safety car comes out and they can't remove Michelle out of the way. It seemed like there was 2 cars involved as we go back to Mike Skeen, and he's in a good battle with Connor Mosak.
Absolutely. Connor's hunting. He feels he's faster. He's caught Mike, but then Mike got him in the mirror. Yeah, that's a sketchy spot.
You got to change it.
Yeah, I believe the safety car is probably imminent since, we're double yellow. So.
Okay, good.
But yeah, that was a tricky spot for her to be in. Unfortunately, not able to get the car refired to get it back out there, and that's just a shame. That really ruins your race, and it's a shame for Michelle.
And there is Michelle's team talking to the Trans Am folk about what the procedure is at this point. But like I said, take me through a systems check. Let me put you in, let's say, Thomas's position here. What do you talk to your engineer about now? Because the whole sort of flavor of the race, you don't want to be talking all the time when you're racing itself, but now we're under yellow. Do you now start to have a check about what the car's feeling, what you're doing? I mean, there's not much you can do, but what do you do?
Yeah, you might have. I mean, depending on what was going on. It looked like the car was looking really, really good. Thomas's car looked really hooked up. So they may be talking about some nitpicky stuff, and there might be a little bit of feedback to give back. Not much adjustment you have in those cars. Brake bias is all you have. So, and a driver's usually pretty of Thomas's caliber would be on top of that brake bias. If he's looking at that, would be a big thing for his balance. But that's the only adjustment you have in a TA2 car as a driver. The TA car, we can adjust our anti-roll bars, the stiffness of those, but that's not necessarily the case there. But yeah, it's right now too. You're for Thomas. I'm looking at, if I'm in his shoes, I'm feeling really confident. I took this lead from a third place qualifying position that I wasn't happy with. I used that in my gut to drive me to make that move. I'm kind of oozing confidence on my starts and my restarts compared to the way, even the way we've seen from Sebring. Rafa, struggled to really get that car fired off. Really good over the long run, but the first few laps, it just really doesn't come to life for him, where Thomas's car looked like it came to life right away.
So we are slowing down procedures here at our TA2 feature race here from WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. It's been a frantic start. Thomas Merrill leads the race, but obviously they're all packing up now. What happened? Michelle Abate going off just past turn 2 and causing a safety car to come out, and 5 laps of the 45 gone and an hour and 7 minutes still to go, and that gives us a chance to take a break from Laguna. We'll be back with more action from TA2 after this. Welcome back to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Beautiful day here in April for round 3 of our TA2 Championship. And we're under caution at the moment. As you can see, the safety car, the Honda Civic, out there in front of our local man, Thomas Merrill, who is looking to extend his lead in the championship. At the moment, after 2 rounds, he has 59 points. Franklin Futrell, who's not here this weekend, is second, and that gives Rafa Matos and Mike Skeen, who are 3rd and 4th in the championship, an opportunity. And don't count out Keith Prochuk, too. He's in 5th at the moment. Connor Mosack, the youngster, racing that Camaro, is currently in the 28 and in 6th place. And gentlemen, I've got Ben Sissel back with us, as well as Adam Andretti. I've been impressed with Connor so far at the start of this race, but Mike Skeen having a little bit of a tough start to his day.
Yeah, I would say so. Mike Skeen, but he is, like we've talked about, he's a tactician, and he also knows Thomas Merrill. And with Thomas Merrill, somebody that races 100 miles at 10/10ths, I think Mike Skeen, if he knows he doesn't have the fastest car, he'll sometimes hang back and wait for that chess move. But I do have to mention Michael Self. He's been having a lot of problems, a lot of bad luck this year, but he's from the West Coast. He's raced here quite a bit in all kinds of different series. And then Edward Savajian is not going to be happy dropping back to 6th place.
No, not after the qualifying run and the time that he's had here. You know, he's not going to be happy with that at all. But you know, he was also, you got to look at the quality of drivers that got around him. You know, with Connor Mosack, you know, is a high quality cat out there, going out there and out there to prove himself. And when he's out there, as a talented person as Connor is, when he's out there with these faster guys that are really familiar with Laguna, it's only going to up his game now that they have no choice but to let them chase him. In practice, you'll pull off and not let someone like Connor learn anything from you. In the race, you have no choice but to race and compete with them. So he's going to learn. He's smart. He'll sit back there and learn. So by the end of this 100 miles, I would definitely put him in. And again, you ride off Mike Skeen at your own peril, right? I mean,
yeah.
He is not going anywhere. Yesterday, people wrote him off in qualifying, and look what he did, slap the thing up on the pole. So with the new track record. So yeah, Mike Skeen is you know, on another level, and so he's definitely someone that is not. This race is not over before by a long shot.
What a beautiful field. I do have to mention that there's a little friendly rivalry between Edward Savajian and Scott Lagasse and Scott Borchetta. And Edward told me the first thing he said when he got out of the car at 4th at qualifying, he's like, my Meissen chassis is faster than all the M1 chassis. And I thought, wow, that's pretty telling. And I even asked him, can I say that on the broadcast? He goes, you betcha. So he's out there, and so now that Connor Mosack and that M1 chassis is ahead of him, you know that he's just gunning for him. But also Tyler Casera, you know, Silver Hair Racing this year has just had bad luck. They're always fast cars. Jeff Hawley does a great job preparing these cars, and now it looks like 7th and 5th place. They're doing pretty well as well.
Pace car's off, and that means that Thomas Merrill will lead the field into turn 11 and restart this race. We are just 7 laps into the 45. Thomas Merrill leads across the line here at Laguna. Chasing him down, Rafa Matos. And it looks as though Mosack's coming and coming fast. He's side by side almost with Mike Skeen as they dive into turn 1. The Andretti curve, too wide through here. He's getting as much grip as he can, Connor, and he's still in. He's got his foot in. He's been left out to dry on wide, but he might get the inside line, and he does so. Good racing, guys.
Fantastic racing. He's going to have the inside line again going here into turn number 4. Another fast corner here. Boy,
wow. Skeen closes the door there, though.
Not making it easy on him at all. Connor got a great restart. Not as good a restart as Thomas. So Thomas really took off coming out of 11 and got a jump on that green flag on Rafa. He knew who he had behind him for sure.
Well, that's also helped Michael Self and Edward Savajian as they head up towards turn 6 and the Ray Hall straight at the restart. A really important time in a race is a restart, because that's the best opportunity, I suppose. And Adam, give me an idea on strategy. Connor, where are you going? Well, that was a classic mistake at Laguna Seca. I've seen it happen a million times. outbraked himself, got very lucky there.
He over-Zanardi'd.
Yeah, he
over-Zanardi'd.
He over-Zanardi'd that one. Yeah,
Very true.
But there he is, side by side with Self. He
recovered
you
well.
know, that speaks very highly for him. He's only 21 years old, first time here, and he learned what not to do with the corkscrew. He won't do that again, but great recovery.
I will say this, he's going to have to keep an eye on his gauges, because a lot of times those pebbles, you'll catch a pebble,
Right.
will knock the oil pump belt off, so that hopefully no red lights are coming on for Connor, and he can continue.
Well, Savajian's going to try the same move that Connor Mosak did last time out and go high and wide round the Andretti curve, and he's going to stick behind Connor and try and chase him through, and both get past Michael Self. Self gets a little wiggle on, and that might be an opportunity again for Mosak up the inside of 3. Does take it.
Connor recovering that spot back that he lost from that mistake up in the corkscrew. He's getting that by Michael Self. Self just got a little bit loose there.
Yeah,
Connor is brave.
He is very brave.
Oh, he is brave. No, there's no question about that. And that's going to take him very far in this sport, because bravery is so important. And then he mixes it with the talent that he has, his learning capabilities. Like you said, he won't do that in the corkscrew again. Got a little bit impatient, and he's going to calm down. He'll catch him back up, and he'll make it a race again.
Yeah, good recovery, and that was a big moment, because I mean, it's almost off into the abyss there, because once you start flirting with that outside wall at the corkscrew, all hell can break loose, and you can see how steep it is up there, and he managed to get down the hill, which is a mighty feat in its own self. He did a Casey Stoner. Down Alla Rossi down the side there, but got back on track. And we've got a heck of a race on, folks. But really good stuff.
That really opened the gap for these front 3. Thomas Merrill, Rafa Matos, and Mike Skeen look to have about 120 yards between to Connor Mosak now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Connor's now starting to spread that gap for Michael Self, and I'm sure that we're going to start to see him start to close the gap a little bit. You know, he went back to 5.5 seconds back off of Skeen. And Skeen's just sitting there as the static, as that strategic driver that he is, just letting those 2 in front wear their cars down and set that pace and just keep them within a sniffing range.
Well, Mike Skeen just did his fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:30.8, but Rafa Matos has ellipsed that. His best time, a 1:30.1. So Rafa Matos, the man we're on board with right now, is on the pace and hunting down Merrill on home soil. Rafa really needs a win, I feel. This is true, I think, of a lot of Brazilian drivers. They're confidence drivers. When they're winning, they're unstoppable. When they're not winning, they're stoppable. And what I mean by that is they stop themselves.
Of course, no, agree. Yeah, no, we talked. This so much of this game is there's Michelle in the pits there.
Shame.
This could possibly be terminal, after the spin. But yeah, absolutely. They're very emotional. They wear it on their sleeve, and Rafa's no different. He's an amazing driver. No one questions that even a little bit. But he needs that confidence boost. He needs that upfront win. He lost a close battle in Sebring, and so this right here, what a dive down into 11.
What
Beautiful
a dive.
pass.
That
Beautiful
was
pass.
sensational stuff. He came from so far behind.
He came from a mile behind us.
Yeah, I don't think that Merrill was expecting that. He knew he was going to get a challenge, but not there and then.
And usually it costs your speed so much down the straightaway that you see how Merrill went to one attack right away. But not really. Rafa was able to keep his apex speed up, and that was incredible. What a pass.
So Rafa Matos, who almost took pole position, is now in pole position, leading this race here with 57 minutes to go.
He heard us talking about his confidence.
I guess that's it.
I'll shut those 2 up right now.
He will. And Mike Skeen's got to be thinking to himself, right, how do I react now? Because he's still solidly in 3rd place.
Yeah, it looks like Thomas's car really fires off. I said it before, really fires off on a restart. And then, Matos's, that 88 car, that Ford Mustang of his, it takes about 3 laps to come to life, 3-4 laps to come to life. And boy, howdy, he has it. I mean, he is gone, and he is going to look to check out on this. Mike Skeen is looking like if this is looking like Rafa's going to take off too much and Skeen feels like he has the car, look for him to make a move.
Yeah, good point. Here's that overtake again. Unbelievable. Really good. He came from a long way back at turn 11, made it stick, and that was beautifully done. And really looking forward to this. If we get another caution, Connor Mosak could come back into play, because he's about a 1.5 seconds as the number 9 of Keith Procek comes into the pits. That wasn't due to be happening, so problems there for him. But it's Matos, Merrill, and Ski.
And by Connor losing that lead group, you remember I talked about learning from that lead group, and now his lap times have fallen because he doesn't have that rabbit to chase. So we made, like you said, he needs that caution to really kind of close that gap to bring him back into this race. He's definitely quicker than Michael Self behind him, so he doesn't have any threat from behind, but he just doesn't have that edge that he had before he made that mistake.
And this race could come down to effectively back markers, because I think by the time we get down to the business end of this race, they're going to be catching up with the slower cars. And given that Laguna's not an easy place in the first place to pass, we may get some interesting shenanigans towards the end as we take a look at the number 3.
Adrian Lostofsky. I spoke to him. He's got a new crew all the way from New York, and it's his first time at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, as Mike Skeen is starting to kind of look at Thomas Merrill.
Yeah, we have a local caution here in turn 1. I saw someone smoking as I come by. I didn't catch who it was, but it looks like we got a local caution here, so something to keep an eye on.
Well, I hope he's got an ashtray if he's smoking.
But yeah, absolutely, Skeen is on the charge. Merrill's mirrors are full, and this is going to end up being a good race. Look for Skeen to make move into 11 on Merrill.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it seems like Thomas is not getting through turn 10 quite like he would like to, and that's given the competitors behind him a run.
Yeah, looking high above the rainy curve, and then turn 10. You can see the undulations of this track and how it dives downhill all the way down. Oh, no! Doug Peterson, teammate, of course, to Rafa Matos and the team owner, and that's been a big smash. You said smoke, and that was obviously happened at turn 1, but he's trying to crawl round. Let's hope he's not dropping any debris or fluid. I don't think he is at this point, but that's not a good scene.
No, I heard from race control that happened with Doug Peterson and Tom Sheehan got together in the front straight, right in front of our man Aaron Colwell.
I think they have magnets, on their cars. It was, I think Tom Sheehan told me at Road Atlanta, I don't want anyone to think I don't like Doug. I love Doug, but our cars just come together. And that's a shame to hear that might have happened. Michael Fine, I was just talking about him a little bit earlier, West Coast guy. Looks like he's having a mechanical issue. This is an old Cameron Lawrence car. I said I really recognize that front bumper.
Yeah, you would.
I felt it on my back bumper a few times.
You're listening to Adam Andretti and Ben Sissel here with me in the commentary, Jonathan Green, as we look high above this fantastic circuit here. Beautiful day in April. Round 3 of the series, TA2 in full flow. 13 laps gone, but now some real damage being taken. Doug Peterson has just gone out. Michel Albarte is out. So it is Fine. Michael Fine is out of this race. We're looking at Michael Self at the top of the corkscrew. Oh, that is big damage.
Full course caution. We have our full course caution out, I believe, for Michael Fine's car that's dead on track out there. Yeah. So if they can get Doug's car drivable again, at least they can get him out there for points. It's important when you have this many.
Now this is going to help Connor Mosak as somebody else goes off.
This is huge for Connor.
Oh, that's Michelle Nagai. Michelle Nagai was with us on the West Coast Series last year in a TA car. She was with us last weekend at Sonoma, and here she is in a TA2 car. So she just wanted more people to race with, so she switched to TA2. So we welcome Michelle Nagai.
Oh, right on. Well, that's cool. She did a heck of a nice dirt track move there getting out
yeah,
of stuff.
It was good.
Hey, listen, while we're under caution, Ben, you were at Sonoma last week. Tell us what happened. Chris Dyson and Hamid Al-Masoud winning in the TA. But TA2, Connor Mosak and his teammate were on great form. First time out.
It was a crazy show. Like, you couldn't have scripted it better for TV. I was doing the grid walk. Everything was fine. As soon as they released the cars, it started raining. And then by the time I got up to my camera position, it stopped raining. So it's just enough to bring the oil out. They're all on slicks. Chris Dyson came in to get reins. They started the race, and Connor Mosak and Sam Mayer just took off, actually passing Simon Gregg. I was watching his in-car, and it seemed like his ABS actually slowed him down, and the other guys just somehow powered through on slicks. And then Simon Gregg led the race for a long time, and Chris Dyson had to basically come through the field, then change back to slicks and come through the field again to win. It was a crazy show. And we had a great showing. Carl Rydquist, the number 47, who was our SGT champion on the West Coast last year, got third place. It was a lot of fun to watch. But one person, I've never seen this side of Sam Mayer, but I think he is maybe the most, or close to the most talented person in the TA2 field right now. He's 7th, but watching him, he's just comfortably staying behind Edward Savagian. I think maybe he's going to let this race come to him this time. Usually he attacks, but he didn't have a great starting position, and I think we're going to see something from Sam Mayer later on in the race.
This track is a tough track to pass on, so when you're buried in the field like that, it can be a bit of a challenge. Oh, Doug there, you're looking awfully disappointed. Hate for his day to end like that. just such a shame. He's such a fierce competitor, fun guy to be around.
Yeah.
So jovial. I mean, if you're having a bad day, go see Doug Peterson, because that'll end that. But yeah, Sam Mayer is an incredible talent. I think Laguna is one of those places that laps here matter big time.
Yeah.
And you really have to. There's so many places here that you can find little tidbits of time. Knowing the track well, and given the fact that he doesn't know this track all that well, it's amazing that he's doing what he's doing against the competitors that have all the laps here. So it does really speak to his talent, but his positioning right now is not normal Sam Mayer.
Well, let's take a look at some action from previously at the corkscrew, because we're under caution here. Connor Mosack has been making some very interesting moves, and a chance to see him. And there.
Oh, there was the spin.
That was Nagai, excuse me. Yeah, that was going off.
Tracking though. Wow, fantastic. Should get a sprint car.
Well, let's go through the field. So in first place right now, we're under yellow is Rafa Matos, followed by Thomas Merrill, Mike Skeen in third, Connor Mosack fourth, and Michael Self fifth. And if you look at that, that's kind of all of our big top teams. You've got Team SLR, you've got Doug Peterson at Three Dimensional Services Group, Thomas Merrill with Mike Cope, Mike Skeen with Stevens Miller, Liqua Molly, Connor, like we talked about, Connor Mosack, Team SLR. Then we've got Edward Savagian at 6th, Sam Mayer, Tyler Casera, Carl Rydquist, Scott Borchetta, Jim Gallagher 11th. He was our TA2 champion on the West Coast last year, followed by the 2019 TA2 champion West Coast, Brad McAllister. Brand new to the series, just started in TA2, but really fast. He's that orange stripe car, the white with the orange stripes. Jeff Holden, I've been very impressed with him the last 2 weeks. He's really fast. He's in 13th place. Ty Young, Nick Racino in 15th place. Greg Tolson, Cameron Parsons, Tom Clower, Drew Neubauer. Tim Lynn is 20th. Stephen Lustig from New Jersey is 21st. Michelle Nagai, 22nd. Ken Twaits, we know him from the XGT and TA. This is his first time in TA2. He's in 23rd. Dave Kanicki, 24th. Mitch Marvash, Robert Acado Jr., Doug Peterson is now 27th, followed by Tom Sheehan. I think they had contact.
Yeah.
Adrian Lostofsky sadly had to come into the pits. I'm not sure what happened there. Michael Fine, Keith Prochuk, Barry Bowes, and then Michelle Abadi.
Yeah. Hopefully they've got Michelle going again.
I just saw Keith Prochuk leave the pit area, so I don't know what kind of issue he had either, but he was having a really good run. It's unfortunate to see him, in the HP Tuners car, have his struggles there, so I hate to see that for that guy.
Adam, let me ask you about Ken Thwaites, because he has, he's a champion in his own right in XGT, but that's a production-based car. He's now done TA, and now he's doing TA2. How hard is all of that transition?
I love the fact that he's that into Trans Am racing, right? He's been a wonderful addition to the paddock. I've known Ken Thwaites for quite a few years. I've worked for his company, Performance Dynamics International, PDI. And so he's a wonderful man to be around, and I know he's doing this TA2 race because he hadn't been here to Laguna since 1986.
Oh, wow.
And quite a bit had changed, obviously. So he wanted to get as much time around here as possible, and I was trying to definitely talk him out of running this 100 miles. I was telling him he was going to be tired for tomorrow, but he was having none of it. So, I'm really, really happy for him.
How could he sit it out?
I had a few people in mind that could get in the car.
Could wheel it for him, pedal it for him.
I know my truck.
Now, what's happened here?
The 18 car.
Robert Acado Jr. He had some problems in the first practice up just past the corkscrew, and it looks like he went off. I don't know about cold tires, but speaking of Ken Thwaites, also that he wants to run the Music City Grand Prix, and that's a TA2 race with Indy cars in August. Right. So he's just trying to get behind the wheels. Yeah. We both live in Nashville. That would be probably 15, 20 minutes from his home. He wants to have a good home showing. And Justin Marks and Scott Borchetta, who are with us this weekend in Trans Am. Scott in this race right there. Some of the owners of the race, the Music City Grand
Justin
Prix.
Marks,
so are we going to see Adam Andretti in a car at the Music City Grand Prix?
Of course you are.
I got to say I'm working on it. I love the street races. I love, obviously, TA2 racing, so definitely working on it.
You've done really well in Detroit in the past.
Yeah.
So why not?
Why not? And I would love to be a part of that weekend. It's going to be a big weekend. Looks like
Michael Fine.
No, it's Michael Fine still trying to.
Well, he's parked at the top of the corkscrew.
A lot of times, I've seen safety. They'll release them like a soapbox derby up there and tell them to coast in.
Yes,
so maybe he's going to soapbox derby.
There is a runoff just before or just after Rainey.
They've cut tow ropes. You know, splitters will cut the tow rope on the bottom of the the corkscrew. It'll pinch it and it'll cut it off. So or it'll rip splitters. So they're doing that. Just they're very well experienced here. The safety crews here are top notch. This is a wonderful venue to come to because it's a year-round venue. They always have something going on here all year round, and so they're well seasoned here, so to speak.
And you know, these drone shots that we're getting, I know we're somewhat near Hollywood, but that's not green screen. That is how pretty this place is. The surroundings of this place is unbelievable. We're on the Monterey Peninsula, up in the hills, and it is beautiful here. I've never been here this early in the year with everything so green, but you can see those fabulous shots we're getting right there from up in the air, and it's unbelievable real estate out here.
You're literally in a state park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a little golf at Pebble Beach with Adam earlier in the week, and, you know, I was about 4 shots ahead of him, but we had some fun.
That's not saying much for my golf game, buddy. But to be 4 shots up on me, you didn't go very far.
Yeah.
40, you've been looking good.
I've never seen anybody play with a baseball bat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's the only way I know how. You know, caveman style.
That's it.
But yeah, everyone's keeping some heat in their car right now and making sure that they're staying nice and warm out there. The track conditions are really good. You know, when this plate doesn't have a lot of grip to begin with, so when the sun beats down on it, it really just rips more of the grip away from it. So with no sun on the track, this is probably some of the most grip any of these cats have experienced here.
Here's a question for you. We've been talking, you know, we've been waxing rhapsodic about the history of Trans Am and its 55-year storied history. I wonder if someone like Roger Penske tuned in now would believe, given that he was involved in, you know, in the early days of preparing cars for Trans Am. We're going to see the HTA cars out, the historic Trans Am out. But it's just, it's almost as though this has got bigger and better as the years have gone on, not less. And it's. I mean, I would have thought if Mark Donohue would have tuned in and seen this, he'd be like, my word, I can't believe what it's become.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think anytime you're in the moment, I don't think any of those that are living the moment realize what something is going to become. You know, they certainly don't have those kind of egos for that. So, yeah, this is it's you know, here we are 50 plus years later and still going very strong. What an amazing car count this weekend. I mean, 33.
Connor Mosack in the pits.
No way. Oh, wow.
Scott must have called him in.
Yeah.
So he's going to try to get out and just catch to the back of the pack there. And I do have to give it up for my buddy now, Scott Borchetta. That should put him in the top 10 at number 9. He started 16th, but he told me in the pits that he's going to find some speed. And then looks like there's some damage to Adrian Lostofsky's front splitter there.
Adam, what do you think? You called this earlier. You said he could have some pebbles in there. Why do you think they brought him in? Because he was in a chance for a podium here.
He might have a puncture too.
Good point.
The gravel, he might have gone through a puncture. They might have got a rock up in the brake.
Well, they're just changing that one tire, so maybe you're right.
The right side tires are what they're changing right now. So he might have been feeling a vibration, is what my guess would be, or the car's handling went away so bad that he feel like he had a tire going down. Now, if he was able to still turn off like he was the 131s that he was cutting off with the tire going down, kudos. But I think there might be something else causing a vibration, but you're going to find out when he goes green here if he still has that vibration now that he's lost all this time. They won't take any chances. They'll just pull that into park.
And now Nick Taylor, his sponsor right there, that is the most comfortable men's underwear. But I wonder if Connor Mosack going through the corkscrew might have filled that underwear with something. That was a pretty scary moment.
As research goes, Ben, you are immaculate. I don't know how you do it.
It's brilliant. No, way to plug that in. Way to plug the sponsor and you know, give us a good laugh there, Ben, for sure. Because yeah, that's a scary moment up there when
that was almost as Zanardi, like you said. Yeah.
He over Zanardi'd.
Yeah.
He over Zanardi'd, and but that's okay. I mean, if that's the worst of your mistakes that you're going to have here, so be it. And you know, that's the thing about the corkscrew. There's not another corner in a racetrack anywhere that you can compare it to. So it's not like you can say, oh, you know how you approach this at a different. No, there's nothing like it. It's and you can't compare anything else to the corkscrew. You can't say, oh yeah, you approach this like the corkscrew.
Pace car's coming in.
Yeah,
no more scrubbing.
Here we go. Let's go green. And I don't think Connor's even out of the pit.
I can hear him roaring out now. He's just going to get out in time.
Boy, that's gonna.
But he's going to be at the back. So we are racing again as we come out of 11. It's the restart. Rafa Matos, Merrill, Skeen, Self.
Now again, remember what I was saying, how well Merrill's car takes off in the first couple laps of a restart as opposed to the 88.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mosak's not going to make it.
Oh, and up Edwards of Agent up the inside. Very, very tight indeed.
Wow. What a pass.
Look at that. Three-way wide with Michael Self and slotting back.
Pass isn't over. Self is coming right back.
Nice,
Right back
nice
to that
move.
position. Really nicely done.
Mosak's
what a
got to be
restart.
right in front of him. There he is. There's Mosak right in front of the group.
So then, a really interesting restart to that, including Sam Mayer right in the thick of it. And now he's side by side with Michael Self as they go into the left-hander, and he makes that place up on Edwards of Agent. They're side by side as they start to head up the hill.
And there's teammates, Tyler Casera and Michael Self.
Yep.
And you know Connor's going to fight for his life up there to stay on that lead lap. I mean, that's really what he's going to do. He's young and he's a Charger.
Oh,
Sam
no,
Mayer off.
Man.
That's a scary ball. That's a spot. Yep. Turn 6 there is not a place you want to go off very fast. It drops. The world drops off there. So really good job of keeping it out of the wall.
But Rafa Matos is all over the back of Connor Mosak.
Yeah, that could really affect the race. Well, that could be the big switch up front with Thomas. What he's looking for is to be able to attack back on.
And he's got right there underneath, and you can see this is really a nervous time for Matos. He doesn't need this right now because he's got a car in front of him that he's not racing.
Yeah. And that's not your usual lap traffic because Connor was pulling basically the same times as the lead group
Yeah.
when he was in 4th. So he's going to be tough to get around.
Yeah,
And he just wants to stay on the same lap.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And you know, this is a handling track, and any little air disturbance too is gonna not let Rafa's car handle quite as well as it does in clean air. So Rafa's definitely sitting back there and boiling a little bit. I'm sure that he's got to face that challenge.
Well, Tyler Casera and Carl Rydquist have now come into the game, as it were, at the front. 6th and 7th they are. Scott Borchetta is definitely in the top 10. He's up to 8th. Jim Gallagher is in 9th position, and Sam Mayer currently in 10th after that slight off.
What does Tyler Casera know that we don't know? He's got a windshield wiper on his car.
There
he goes.
There you go.
The dark clouds.
Yeah, that was a good save by Sam Mayer.
I tell you what, he could have easily ended up in the tires there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I tell you.
I think anybody else would have.
Yeah, there's not too many times that you would have kept that out of the barrier. He did a heck of a job. Another dirt tracker in our midst here. Coming down the corkscrew there, really nice.
Great
line
shot.
by all those. Beautiful shot by our camera crew.
Yeah,
Coming down
Bob
into
Marley,
Wayne
our
Rainey.
cameraman Bob Marley up there.
Hey Bob, doing a fantastic job down into Wayne Rainey. They're coming down here into turn 10. Very good corner here. Here's where you can really separate and get that run down into 11. Now all these cars seem to get through there equally.
Oh, Matos again!
Rafa comes from way back there all the time. He's so confident there under the brakes, does a fantastic job, cuts the apex tight, but is able to keep his speed up.
Merrill's gone with him, and that's important because Merrill needed to make sure that he got past as well so that he can continue to pursue Rafa Matos. They're 1st and 2nd now. Skeen's got work to do. He'll try up the inside.
I think
Look at this.
At this point now that Connor is actually lapped down, and the racer in him is going to be pretty lenient to the rest behind.
Yeah.
Not to mess up anyone else's race. Since his race is over, no sense in everyone else's being over.
Yeah, good point. So the top 3 are cleanly through, and it looks like Edward Savagian in 4th position now, trying to get past Connor Mosak as well. But it's Rafa Matos in the 88 three-dimensional services car that leads this race from Thomas Merrill, winner here in 2019.
Edward Savagian, man, I tell you, that little reset he got, that last yellow, has brought him back to life. You know, he's back up in P4. He's looking very, very strong where he's at. And then when these top 3 start to mix it up, he's going to have the best seat in the house, and that's only going to bring him closer to that race.
Wonderful drone shots, looking up turn 6 towards the corkscrew. An amazing way of looking at this racetrack that I've never seen before. Really, really exciting to see. And the big machine vodka car of Edward Savagian doing the business at the moment. And so too Scott Borchetta in the 48 version of the same car. And both of them in the top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, Borchetta's all the way up to P7. Definitely the race of his TA2 career. Is just sitting there right behind Tyler Casera, just a 1.5 second gap. So he is right there in attack mode as well.
So we're getting to car number 18 coming back out of the pits. We saw him go off earlier. And there is Scott Borchetta in that spike. You love these colors, don't you, Ben?
I
you've been
do.
talking about
I really do. He really stands out as a videographer, photographer. And I've been so impressed with Scott Borchetta. He was with us last weekend at Sonoma, really just to have fun. And he did really well there, and now he's doing great at Laguna Seca. He is a West Coaster. He grew up in California and moved to Nashville several years ago. So he's happy to be back in his home state, having a good showing.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job. His growth as a driver, it shows how much he really cares about doing well in this paddock. It means a lot to him. And I make no bones about it. I think the TA2 grid, the depth of it, I think IndyCar Racing is the only one out there that has a tougher grid to go out there and face.
Fair comment. Yeah, it's interesting.
Got such depth to it, and the teams do such a good job of bringing it every week that, and you watch the on-track product is really so similar how good the racing is.
Well, it's a testament to the youngsters like Connor Mosack and Sam Mayer that they want to race in this because they are definitely destined to bigger and better, as it were, when it comes to NASCAR. And this, like I said, is a great place to sort of learn their craft.
Of course, and I think, you're going to see 5-10 years even down the road, Connor and Sam will come back to anyone that is in Trans Am and tell them that, these were the toughest years of their racing career, was being out here in this grid, because it's a tough paddock to win races in.
So Sam Mayer right behind Scott Borchetta. They've been working together with Scott Lagasse and Scott Lagasse Jr. Racing. And so right now I feel like Sam Mayer's just kind of hanging back, probably watching his gauges as he ducks inside Borchetta. Now Borchetta might follow him around, locks up that front left.
Got in a little bit deep, and Borchetta's going to re-attack right here. It's something you got to watch on there, the Andretti hairpin. It'll suck you in.
Yeah.
It goes off camber.
It's a tougher corner than it looks, actually.
Absolutely.
So we're getting to the halfway point of this race, and it's been very dramatic so far. And again, just coming out of the pits a moment ago, and he's back off again, the 18th. So whatever the problem was, it's found itself again, and unfortunately...
That should be just a local yellow. They're going to be able to pull him in. There's an exit gate right there. So he should be good. The great thing about WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca is there's a lot of places to pull your car off, and hopefully we don't have to go full course yellow there.
It looks like they got a gap there, and the truck was already retrieving it. So local yellow should be enough, Ben. I would agree for sure. Great eye on that.
And here,
Michelle Nagai.
Oh, wow.
Again, showing the dirt tracking skills.
Well, like you said.
Yeah, sprint car in her future.
There you
I
go.
can see it. I called it.
You did. So I think that we're going to have a local caution, but nothing more than that. We won't have a safety car out again, because here comes the leaders, Matos, Merrill, and Skeen now starting to make some inroads now as they pull away from the fourth place man, Savajian.
Yeah, and Connor Mosack is just kind of in there between them, not giving up his lap down plus fourth place, and so Edward Savajian's got to be getting pretty frustrated, wondering when Connor's going to let him by, because that gap is just opening up and getting bigger as we look at Jim Gallagher, last year's TA2 champion on the West Coast.
Ooh, you make a mistake going in there, and he's lost it wide.
Ooh. And that number 24 car, that's Dylan McIvern's old car that Brad McAllister's driving right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we went door to door a lot, Dylan and I. We had some awesome battles, and what a great driver he is, and miss him around the paddock as well. He was a wonderful face to see. Him and his dad every weekend, week out was always something I cherished, from those race weekends. So, love to ever see them come back to the paddock anytime. They're always welcome.
Oh, it's great.
Always exciting and fantastic young talent.
Yeah. So in 9th, 10th, and 11th place is our 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the West Coast Championship. Carl Rydquist in 1st, Jim Gallagher in 10th and 2nd, and Brad McAllister in 11th and 3rd. So that could be our podium for the West Coast Championship, and they're showing us some real talent out there.
Absolutely. Great racing.
Just half an hour to go now, 32 minutes to be exact, as we're on board with the Ford Mustang of Drew Neubauer under the bridge, and up the hill he goes towards the Ray Hall Straight.
That's my favorite livery in TA2 right now, that Rat Fink looking side of the Berryman.
The Berryman, yeah, it's good.
I love it.
I like what Matos has done on the top there. I was talking to him about it, and he's put the American flag on the top there, just as Michelle did last year, Michelle Abate. And so that looks really good from above. He knows the drone's up there.
Yeah, new U.S. citizen, so he's proud of it.
He's playing it well.
Nick Racino's got a flag on top. I like this. Well, it is Trans Am, and the Am is America, so I like that.
I can tell you my dad, he was not a natural-born citizen, born in Italy, obviously, and he always said the proudest moment of his life was certainly becoming an American citizen. So congratulations to Rafa on that, and showing that proudly on the rooftop of his car, as he should. It's a great, wonderful country.
So now that we're kind of spread out, we're in lap 25 of 45. We got more than 30 minutes to go. Do you relax in a TA2 race, or are you just trying to now feel the car and see what's going on?
Yeah, you know, there's no time for relaxing in these TA2 races. It's 100 miles, it's a sprint race, so every lap is a qualifying lap. Pirelli builds a really good durable tire, so you don't worry about over-abusing the tire. You know, what you do worry about is over-abusing the other usables like your brakes and things like that, especially a place here like Laguna, which can historically be tough on the brakes. So you do settle in to a certain extent, but it's more of a rhythm thing. You don't really give up or relax. It's really just finding that rhythm and your flow, if you will, and this place is great for that, you know.
And do the cautions help or hurt you? Because I've heard from some drivers that sometimes driving a heavy car under caution can be more physical than anything else.
Oh yeah, no, and it gets hot, right? These cars are hot already, and then when you take all that air from moving around inside, it just makes it's like you're sitting in an oven.
Look for Sam Mayer to duck inside or outside of Michael Self here at the Andretti turn. And that's Edward Savagen there, currently running 4th place. There he is, Sam Mayer around Michael Self. Yeah. I saw him coming down the straight a little bit faster. Good pass.
Sam's on a mission. His lap times are right there with what Mike Skeen is running, so he could, you know, if he was up there, it would. So, you know, any other full course caution could really switch up this race quite some way.
And that's all Connor Mosack is hoping for. He's like, get me back on the lead lap, give me full course caution. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he would love for that. You know, at this point, probably not enough time left in the race to even climb back through this field to get back up. But he would definitely salvage a better position than where he's at, being a lap down. But he is the first car 1 lap down, so there is that. And as you said, we get deeper into this race, lap traffic is going to play a role.
It's going to play a part in it.
Look at Scott Borchetta coming around the hairpins. Great shots.
Yeah, the crew just here. You guys all do a fantastic job bringing this Trans Am racing to the fans and to the homes, and you know, it's such a blessing to have this live streaming. And
Michelle Abate, and she's parked up in the pit lane. Actually.
Looks like maybe her left front tire might be down.
Yeah, she could have a down tire, or it might just be the way that it's settled into the pavement there. But yeah, it looks like either down tire or broken front suspension parts she could have from that contact earlier.
Not been a good day at the office for Michelle. She loves coming here to Laguna, but that's not how she planned her day at all.
Absolutely not. No, you're always gutted for that. As you know, a fellow racer, you don't ever want to see anybody having those struggles, because you know how it feels. If you haven't been there, you haven't been racing long enough.
So the field's starting to spread out. Matos in control of this car. Of his car and in control of this race. He's 1.5 seconds ahead of Thomas Merrill, who was definitely one of the favorites here this weekend. Mike Skeen chasing a win in 3rd at the moment, and Edward Savagen going well in 4th place. Sam Mayer is the man on the hunt at the moment, putting in some very good lap times and getting past Michael Self in the last lap. Casera's still there in 7th. Borchetta in 8th now.
The top 3 right now, they've displayed all weekend long. Wouldn't you agree, Ben, that they've been kind of on another planet with themselves? Yep. So this is kind of how we saw some of this playing out. We were definitely thinking there was those intangibles with Connor and Sam and Edward that might be able to sneak in there, being in that same group. But these 3 have really kind of checked out, shown that they're the class of the field out here today, and it's looking good. And I tell you, who's bringing themselves back into this is kind of reeling them back in is Connor.
Yeah. He's not that far behind, is he?
He's not in the race, but you know, if he's feeling froggy enough, you'll see him. He won't sit back on anyone, I don't think.
I've never seen this out of Thomas Merrill, but you know, he may be protecting the championship also, because he's in the lead, and he seems to be kind of letting the race come to him a little bit. But it looks like we're going double yellow.
We have a double yellow, yeah. Yeah, you know, Thomas, he's found himself in a position. I don't think he's found himself in his Trans Am career yet, and that's points racing. And, you know, if you need to salvage, if your bad day is a 2nd or 3rd or even a 5th, you know, that's what you need to do. You need to salvage those days. He's not feeling like he's having his best day here today. You know, still podium in here today would be a huge thing for him. You know, he's such a great talent. You just hope that, you know, this is a place he expected to really dominate, and don't let that affect him. Just, you know, roll over to the next event and keep up doing what you're doing.
Down the corkscrew once again. Rafa Matos, Merrill in pursuit, and then Skeen. The car next is a lap down, but there's Savajian in fourth, and here's the man we're keeping an eye on in that number 8 of Sam Mayer.
This full course caution came perfect for Sam.
Yeah,
we got, We got 17 laps left here. He's got some time. And he was looking really good. Like I said, his lap times are right there with Skeens. You put someone, like I said, with his talent right up on his rear bumper. He's got to get around Edward Savajian yet, and I believe they will give Connor a wave around, right, Ben?
They should, yeah. He should be out of there. I hope they do it soon.
So we await for the restart of this one as we take a closer look now at that number 8, who's been definitely making some good stories.
Yeah, Sam's always one for giving us some excitement, giving us something to draw, something to talk about, and like you said, for many years to come, we're going to be seeing him, in big, better things. He's got Edward Savajian that he's going to have to get around. He'll have to deal with Edward. Edward's been no slouch.
And that's
Tom Sheehan
just coming out of the pits of the 97, the all-yellow car. Can never miss that.
I was just making sure no one from Doug Peterson's crew was going to throw a water bottle. No, I'm just teasing. No, they did. It's a heck of a race. A lot of attrition here. What to be expected at Laguna is that, there's just common when you have this many cars to have a couple of full course cautions like we've had. So not a surprise whatsoever, and it's definitely going to give us some good.
I said at the beginning of this broadcast, Adam, that this was an important race for both Skeen and Rafa Matos, and it's going to be proving that way. Matos started the day 10 points behind Thomas Merrill. He's going to beat him on the road, but only just. But that will narrow the gap between the pair of them. Futrell is not a factor, given that he's not here this weekend, and he will lose that second place, and Matos will move up to second.
Absolutely, and Matos gained an extra point by being one qualifying position ahead of him on that, and Skeen gained 2 points on him by doing that. So there is that little bit of a swing too. So I know Mike Skeen's definitely looking to get around Thomas to try and really put a dent in that.
So we are under caution again. Our third caution of the day. Adam Andretti, Ben Sissel, Jonathan Green. We're sending Ben down to go and get the interviews for the end of the race because it's coming up quickly. I think this is going to be a timed race. We're not going to get the full 45 in with just 23 minutes to go. But it's Matos, Merrill, Skeen, Savajian of Texas, and Sam Mayer, the young gun, in 5th place. Then in 6th is Michael Self. Further down, Gallagher, Holden, Rossino, West Coast specialist, and you can see the W means the West Coast Championship. Parsons is up there in 16th position. We've been on board with Neubauer, Drew Neubauer in in 18th position, and Nagai, as you know, has had her problems, as has Michelle Abate, who it looks as though has now retired from this race.
Yeah, a lot of retirements here. There's been, like I said, some decent attrition. So a lot of drivers taking advantage of that. Ken Twaits is into the top 20. He's 19th, and he keeps on getting a little bit quicker and quicker. And right now, he's right there with the same lap times of those that are around him. So there's a few positions that could be gained there. So there's a really good race there from like 16th through 20th as well. And so there's going to be a lot of good racing coming on this restart all the way through the pack there, Jonathan.
Yeah, there's another trick of the tail potentially in this race. We might have a surprise before too long because you know that Matos is a good restarter, and there's no question that his overtake into the lead was without doubt one of the best moves of the day. Thomas Merrill is a mean terrier when it comes to a fight for the win. Tires are going off. Can you describe just how the car feels now compared to when you started? Because fuel load's down, tires are starting to go off, it's hot as you mentioned. How does that affect the feel of the car?
Depending on what how you were set up over the long haul, but really honestly for me, as the fuel burns off, the cars always start to feel a little bit better. They will start to get a little bit more slidey around. We have sun on the track now, so now the grip levels definitely changed. So you may see the way some of these cars handle differently. I'm again anxious to see. Like I've seen it every restart. Rafa's car just does not get up and go as quick as Thomas's does, but Rafa's car over the longer run, it gets up and go and makes it happen. So it's still another lap under caution. It looks like we're going to have here.
And if you're Merrill, do you go for it at that Andretti curve at the restart, or do you bide your time for a bit?
Well, you got to go when the opportunity's there. If the opportunity presents itself at the Andretti hairpin down there into turn 2, absolutely, you got to go for the attack. But yeah, wherever the opportunity presents itself. Right now, that's probably, if I was Thomas, that's where my head would be at. That's where I'm guessing his head is at. Is he's looking for that opportunity, and then when he sees that opportunity, he will pounce, and he'll pounce like a tiger.
Well, you just saw a quick glimpse of our man Ben Sissel down there in the pit lane, and while we're still under caution, let's head down to Ben and find out what's going on in the pit lane. Down to you, Ben.
We are down at the pit lanes. First, I want to talk to Jeff Holley, Silver Hair Racing. He's the crew chief of Michael Self and Tyler Casera. You guys have had kind of rough luck to the start of the season, but things seem to be going pretty well for you.
Yeah, we had a little bad luck to begin with the first 2 races. The main plan this weekend was to first finish and make gains on it every practice session, and we feel like we got some decent hot rods, so it's been a good weekend.
How do your guys sound on the radio? Are they relaxed, or are you having to talk them and coach them through some things?
They're dialed in pretty good right now. They're a little free, but I think everybody is, so it's going to be who can hold it on the track and finish.
Nice. Jeff Holley, Silver Hair Racing. Maurice Hall, we miss you out here, buddy. But Silver Hair Racing is doing pretty good. Back to you, Jonathan and Adam.
Great stuff, Ben. Thank you. Yes, it's great to be able to have that utility where we can send him down there and get some stories for us, because it just adds to the, to hear what the drivers are saying, whether they're relaxed, whether they're not. It's always good to get the insight from you, but to hear it from the engineer and what they're actually saying on the radio to each other and how they're feeling, and I think he summed it up nicely there. It's all systems go for that team there at the moment.
Yeah, Ben Sizzle, the hardest working man on the weekend out here.
I'm sure he's got a doppelganger or a twin brother somewhere.
You could see him absolutely anywhere at any time, and he's always got a smile on his face hidden behind that mask of his. So, but yeah, absolutely, it backs up exactly what I was assuming was going on out there. Not a lot of grip. That's why everyone is free.
I just heard that Ben, I think, just listened to you, because he's now rushed over and got Scott Lagacy. So let's go back down to Ben Sissel. Ben, what's going on?
All right, here I am now with team principal of Team SLR, Scott Lagacy Jr. You've got Connor Mosack, Sam Mayer, and also Scott Borchetta. How you feeling about this race so far?
We've had a tough start to this thing. Connor had to lock his tires down to keep from getting into another car, and we had a pit, so he's now a lap down but fast. Sam got shuffled and is on his way back to the front. I'm just afraid we just heard it's going to be a time limit race. That may hurt our chances there. And then Scott, got mired way back there and is hauling ass right now and heading to the front. So this is, I'm proud of what our guys are doing right now. Just a little wishing we had a little smoother start to it,
So, do you wish you were out there right now racing, or are you having fun just coaching your guys?
I do wish I was out there. That's always where you want to be. But I say that I've found a new joy and a new passion here, and it's fun when you're working with 3 or 4 guys like that are good. We've got Jeff Holden here as his West Coast guy that's first race here. He's flying too, I think, in the top 10 now. So it's fun for me. I'm finding a new enjoyment and pulling the reins back really on these guys. They're all good and they all work hard. So we just have to not make mistakes.
Nice. I love it. Scott Lagacy Jr. out there. Jonathan, Adam, back to you, buddies.
Perfect timing, Ben. Great insight as always. And Scott Lagacy's got some juggling with those 2 young bucks on his hands, but he's the perfect guy.
Yeah.
He's been there, done that, got the T-shirt, and they will listen to him.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm so glad to hear that he found that passion in that, because he's very good at it. He's very good at coaching these young kids, and he's not only coaching them on track, he's coaching them off track. Some of the behavioral things that you need to have. And the way that politics run. But the pace car's off. Here we go.
Yep, pace car comes in, and we are going to go racing again. We've got 16 minutes and 45 seconds as Rafa Matos leads them away. Thomas Merrill desperate to win at home and could be having an opportunity here at the first corner of the Andretti curve, but he's not close enough. He's going to try high and wide. Rafa defends and literally blocks him from making any progress. and Rafa holds the lead through that first turn, and that's a good restart by the Brazilian come American.
Yeah, he got a little bit of wheel spin. Rafa did on the coming out of 11 to get the green, and that gave just that bit of a run to Thomas Merrill, and that's why that almost happened there. But now that Rafa's got a couple corners, some heat in the tires, he's picking up right where he left off before this caution. Yeah,
talking of runs, it looks like Sam Mayer is trying to make a go at getting past Edward Savajian. There he is in the white and black behind the bid machine vodka number 38. Savajian defends as they go back up the hill now, under racing conditions and down towards up towards the Ray Hall straight now. Mayer all over the back of him. Got to have a chance at the corkscrew, but can't screw it up, so to speak. But he might. Let's see if he goes for it.
Yeah, it was Edward Savajian was very defensive up there, like he will be. You play that. That's
whoa!
A nice little fly coming down the hill there by Sam. Nicely done. That shows that driver's skill. Merrill right on the back bumper.
This is good. This is really good because Merrill's closer than he's ever been in this race to Matos. Matos, remember, overtook him into this turn 11. It's not going to happen for Merrill this time, but Skeen's now starting to show as well.
Well, I just saw right there why Matos is so fast into turn 11. He gets through turn 10 better than any of them.
Right.
He made it through turn 10. Merrill was right on his back bumper getting into 10. And Rafa just smoked it through turn 10.
Well, in one of the articles in the weekend, Merrill was describing the fact that he thinks that he has the advantage here at Laguna. Yes, it's his home circuit, but he really believes that the exit of the corkscrew and down the rainy curves to 10 and 11 is really where he shines. And I do think, mystically, that's a place where you can gain a lot of time if you play it right. It's a funny combination of corners, but if you do it right and you're on the right line and the right pressure on the gauge, as it were, you can get it faster than others.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I was watching it yesterday, even in the TA practice. So that's, when Chris Dyson went to another planet, that's what he was doing, just so much crazier than everyone else up there was at the corkscrew. He was definitely attacking it and getting through it and down rainy better than anyone else.
So we are getting down to the tick-tock time. 14 minutes to go. We've had plenty of drama to talk of. And there's going to be more. I think there's going to be one more twist to this, don't you?
Oh, yeah. No, this isn't over yet. No, this isn't over yet. And cautions breed cautions, although we got away with that one pretty clean. But right here, these top three are right on top of each other.
And I just saw that Adrian Lostofsky's just joined us. What's going on, my friend?
We lost a brake master cylinder, most likely, going into the corkscrew, so we...
Well, we might have plenty of time to talk about this in a moment. Stephen Lustig's just gone wrong. But you're listening to Adrian Lostofsky, who was just out there, and he's just about to tell us again, start again, because we had that moment with Lustig.
Yeah, we most likely lost a brake master cylinder. Going into the corkscrew, I went through the dirt, damaged the splitter. Tried making my way back to pit lane, and we actually doing pace speed. I actually went off again, almost got stuck in the gravel there, and just slowly made it down pit road. There's something going on with the brakes. One of the master cylinders must have went.
We were talking about Ken Thwaites making the transition to this sort of racing. How are you enjoying it?
Oh, I love it. I feel like we have a lot of speed. I feel like we had a 6th-place car today, 7th-place car. We just got to get all the bugs worked out. I think it's always like that when you have a new car, a new team, new class, and stuff like that. But once we get it all figured out, we'll definitely be running up front.
Well, we've got 12 minutes to go. Adam Andretti, Adrian Lostofsky, what's your thoughts on how this is going to pan out? Can Matos hold them off?
I think, he's looking strong. And he's looking, like I said, one of the key passing zones here is turn 11. And I don't see anyone getting through turn 10 as well as he is. He's just really ripping it through there. And I mean, even there, you can physically see a little bit of gap from the apex to the exit change.
Was it gear choice? What's he doing?
Who knows? Who knows? They may have gone with a different gear choice. It may just be his driving. It may be that's where he focused on the weekend, knowing how many races he's run here at Laguna, knowing where he needed to be strong and things like that. But Adrian, how's the grip levels out there today?
Actually, it's much better than the first day we were here. First day we were here, the track was very slick. Now I feel like it's very good. I don't know if it's the cooler air or there's less sand on the track, but it felt much better.
Well, Mike Skeen obviously wants to get his championship back going again. He started brilliantly at Sebring, as he always does, but he is down in the points to the man in front of him, Thomas Merrill, who leads the championship coming into round 3. And will continue to do so.
And Thomas is just hanging on to that Mike Cope car right now. That thing is sliding around. You see that?
Yeah.
There, coming out of 3.
He has. I think he ran 10 laps in qualifying, and I think Rafa ran 5 laps in qualifying. So he does have 5 more laps on his tires.
That's a good point. Yeah,
that's a big difference.
Skeen looking for a way past Merrill for a moment then. Right behind them, Sam Mayer. This is getting very tasty. 11 minutes to go. And you can throw a blanket over the chasing pack. Here we go! And Skeen squeezes through at the corkscrew. Well, have a taste of that wine, because he just uncorked that one.
Wow, what a beautiful move. What a beautiful move there. And like I said, you know, right off Mike Skeen at your own peril, right? I mean, here he is, P2. You got 10 minutes left in this race. Now that's a timed race. I wouldn't put it past Mike to close this gap up and make this a race.
Really good stuff by Mike Skeen, and now we'll see if he can get any quicker as he heads up the straight to go in pursuit now of Rafa Matos. Skeen up to second, Merrill now third, Savajian looking for that elusive podium and is still very much on for it. Look at him right there, and likewise Sam Mayer.
Yeah, Sam's still sitting there working with Edward Savajian. Edward's done a heck of a job at holding off Sam. You know, that's a really good run for Edward. I know, like, this would really put his whole weekend together. I know he really wants one more spot to be up on that podium, but I know that he would feel like that 4th place to him would almost feel as good.
I said it earlier, Adrian, Rafa needs this one. He's not had the perfect start to the year, and he's a confidence driver. If he can get this one under his belt, the championship is well on for him, isn't it?
Definitely, and the confidence coming out of a win, carrying that momentum to the next race, really, it's unbeatable. Just for the whole team, for the driver, everyone.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you ride the highs of this sport like that, and you're right, the whole group gets to do it, you know, and your biggest fans are those that are spinning the wrenches for you. So, you know, it's a whole group effort to win these things, and like we were saying before, it's one of the most competitive paddocks out there in all professional motorsports. So, to win a race at this level is a big deal, and I know Rafa feels that way. You know, Rafa's won on every level, and he knows that what a challenge TA2 is, and that's why he's found a home here. Is he loves that challenge.
Yeah, and he's had an interesting few years. He bounced into the three-dimensional services team in 2018, got his first win at Road Atlanta, went on to take the championship, then joined the Silver Hair team and didn't have the best of starts to the season, got better as the season went on. It was a new team, so that makes sense. But now he's rejoined Doug Peterson, and I think he was expecting, or the team were hoping, that he would just go back into the stride that he had in 2018. It's never that easy, though, but this could be a pivotal moment weekend for him.
For sure, and he almost did, right? Other than Merrill spoiling him, you know, at Sebring, he had a great Sebring race, and you know, just very similar to what this is looking like. You know, he kind of checked out and looked like he had the race at hand, and late race caution brought it back together, and we went green, white checker, and Thomas took advantage of it and was able to get around him there in 17 at Sebring. But he looks in form today. His restarts have been brilliant, and Laguna is a much tougher place to pass. What do you think, Adrian?
Yeah, very difficult place to pass, and with Rafa, going back to Rafa, he has really good qualifying every race weekend, and sometimes when you don't have the finishes to go with that, it gets very frustrating. So he must feel really good right now, running in first. Always qualifies well, so he needs a win for his team. I mean, I think it'll pick up his momentum there and morale.
And this will be good for the team. Doug Peterson crashing out early on of the race. Big disappointment for him, so he'll be watching on the sidelines now as Rafa comes into 11 with 7.5 minutes to go. Skeen will keep him honest. And now Sam Mayer in the 28 all over. So, excuse me, Connor Mosak, excuse me.
Yeah, that's Connor.
It's confusing me, yeah.
Well, like I said, Thomas looks like he drove the rear off the car. There's no rear tires. I don't want to say he drove the rear off. It's not necessarily him, but it looks like there's just no more rear grip left in that car. He's sliding around on the line.
Yeah, he is. He's a mess.
Yeah, he can't get that power down, and here we go. Connor's gonna go get a lap back off of him.
Yeah, he's struggling, isn't he?
Yeah, he can't get the power down. That's really kicking the back end out on him.
So time running out, and this is going to be an emotional win for Rafa Matos if he can do it, because I spoke to him earlier in the weekend. He's got a cousin that he lost, Mariana, on the side of the car, so he'll be, I'm sure, either dedicating it to her or at least remembering her from this weekend, because it was a new add to his car this weekend, and so he wanted to go out and win for sure. and he's done everything right. We thought he got pole position yesterday, and he just got pipped on the very last lap by Mike Skeen, who hasn't been as competitive in race trim, perhaps, as Rafa Matos, who did a brilliant move to take the lead, and now time running out.
Yeah, he's definitely driving with that heavy heart. He's driving inspired, and you can see it. You know, you can definitely see it in his form throughout the weekend. I know he really wanted that pole, and got nit from him, but he's driving a flawless race. To say that, Mike Skeen is gaining a little bit of time. You know, Mike Skeen is now right there within 2 seconds. You know, so he's closed that gap up about a tenth or tenth and a half.
Good battle also between Edward Savagian and Sam Mayer. I got confused with Connor Mosack, of course, a lap down, but Mayer all over the back of Savagian, and Gallagher going off on the Madison car, number 16. That's the second time he's had problems today.
Remember how we said one more caution?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh. Scott Borchetta's had a good run. Currently in 8th position, just ahead of Brad McAllister. He's chasing down Michael Self, and he's got a chance of overtaking him with 5 minutes to go in the spiked 48.
Yeah, he's looking really good. Borchetta's really strong here at the end here, and looks like he's poised for the attack on the Michael Self. Beautiful Sinclair car. Love that livery too. That's such a sharp looking car, and really do a nice job. The product.
Yeah, you can't miss it, can you?
No, you cannot.
Well, there's Gallagher parked up as we take a look up the Rahal Straight.
He's definitely not in the most dangerous position.
No, that's true.
He is inside of the track, on the inside. There's really, you know, I don't see race control overreacting on this one with less than 5 minutes to go.
You know, I don't think Merrill's going to be bothered about Connor getting in the way, because he's got a solid third place regardless of the car slipping and sliding underneath him. Here's that battle I'm interested in. It's just on how Sam Mayer can possibly make a move on Edward Savagian. Let's see if he does something here coming into the final corner.
It looked like he was sizing him up for 11, didn't it?
Yeah, he did, didn't it? Yeah. Well, we'll soon find out. Here we go. No, didn't quite do it, but he's got another chance. This is a great battle here for 4th position.
Yeah, it is, boy, and it's a be bittersweet, right, for Edward to be running 4th for almost the whole race.
The whole race. Haven't qualified 4th, yeah.
Yep. So it's a really, really nice run for him today. No matter what the outcome is, hold his head high on the company he kept all day and the race that he ran and the weekend he put together. It was just really a whole weekend. And, you know, Adrian, it's so important not only to have a great race, but to put the weekend together.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, carry momentum from session to session.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to, you know, if you do well in practice, you do well in qualifying, you do well in a race, you had a good solid weekend, you can go back happy. You know, like us right now, our Hawk Performance Camaro was doing so well. You know, first practice, we did a little bit of work, we kept getting faster, we qualified 9th, and we felt like we had a 6th place car this weekend, and we're like, wow, this is one of the best cars we've ever had, and we don't even know the track here in California, in Laguna Seca, so we were excited, and I told the team we're gonna save a lot of the car for the last 10 laps. We're gonna just take it easy, stay on tail end, not be too aggressive, and you know, it's frustrating. It's still we don't get to finish the race, you know, so it's frustrating.
Yeah, I hate it for you. As a racer, you know that, right?
Yep.
You know, it guts you when you put it all in there, and then you know, the mechanical failures are the hard ones to swallow, and but you'll bounce back from it. You guys will be stronger in the long run from it, and we all know that, and looking forward to your next time out again. All of us.
And Adrian, I don't know who did your design, but it pings on TV. You can really see that car. I was up on the hill yesterday, and I was watching you qualify and practice, and I was like, wow, you can really read the whole thing and see it. Looks great.
Yeah, that's Hawk Performance. John Butler, Taylor Allen, those guys designed the whole design, and we just fine-tuned it a little bit and came out with a really good livery there.
Someone just you know, lit a fire underneath Rafa.
Yes.
He cut off
I think he was listening to your commentary at the start of the race.
He cut off a 139. A 130.9. I haven't seen anyone in the 130s since early on in this race. So he's definitely putting down the qualifying laps right now, Adrian. That's going to be tough to beat if he keeps that up, because Mike Skeen tried to answer the call, put out the fastest lap of his recent laps, and was still 3/10 off of what Rafa was able to pull off. So Rafa is in a zone here.
Yeah, no question.
Like you said, Jonathan, driving inspired. He wants to really get this one, bring it home for his family. and you know, and have that beautiful tribute.
And like I said, you know, I said this was going to be an important weekend for both Skeen and Matos, and it's proved that way, because Skeen won't be disappointed with second place. He struggled by his standards throughout most of this race. He didn't get the perfect start. He was struggling to stay in third, and even at the restarts, he wasn't the fastest restarter. And to see him there in second place, and comfortably so, he's going to be pleased with that. His car obviously going off as well.
Well, they know the points leader's in third, and that's the biggest thing, right? They know that points leader's in third, and that they made those gains, and Rafa almost maximized points, right? Because he's going to lead the most laps today, and he's going to, you know, only point he didn't get was for the pole. Here's one lap to go, final lap.
Final lap, and the question is, can Mayer get past Savagin? Will Rafa Matos hold on and do the perfect job here at Raceway? That is Laguna Seca, the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, I should say. But Matos has done an immaculate performance. It could have been pole position. He wanted those points, didn't get them, but now he's beaten Skeen on the road.
He's put in a championship drive for sure. I mean, really, really happy for him. He's not put a wheel wrong. I mean, look at all the road he's using there. I mean, not an inch left of that road on this racetrack. That's showing confidence, and if you're doing that at the end of the race, that's oozing confidence. And he is checked out, and he is still laying down the lap to come to that checkered flag.
Yeah, he definitely got into a rhythm there at the end. The last 10 laps now, it's been a perfect rhythm. And when you get to that rhythm, and you know that you get to a rhythm where you're just driving perfectly turn by turn by turn, and the lap times show, and you're actually not using up as much tire, and you have a lot left at the end there.
You got it, Adrian.
Here we go then, one more corner to go for Rafa Matos, the Brazilian-American. He's got the American flag on the top of the car, and he'll celebrate with that flag because it's a touch of Matos magic in Monterey as he comes towards the checkered flag and takes it in style here in California. Matos wins his first race of the season and moves to second overall in the championship.
Sam really fighting hard, getting off with Edward Savagin out of 11 here, coming to the checkered, but Edward hangs on for fourth place. Wonderful, wonderful job for him.
Skeen second, Merrill third, Savagin, like you say, holding on brilliantly to hold off Sam Mayer. Tyler Casera in sixth place. Michael Self drops down to seventh. Good result for Borchetta in the top 10 in eighth. That's two of his cars in the top 10. Tim Lynn moved all the way up the West Coast top man, and he will win the West Coast competition, so to speak, in ninth position ahead of Brad McAllister, also on that West Coast entry, and Jeff Holden in 11th, Ty Young in 12th. Great race from Rafa Matos. My thanks to Adrian Lostofsky. Thank you for coming up, given the fact that you've had a tough day, but really enjoyed having you in here, and you're welcome anytime. Adam, as always, we would like to see you out there, but always good to get your insight. Did you enjoy that, boys?
Oh, what a race. Fantastic race. Laguna never disappoints, and neither does TA2. Congratulations to Rafa, and he just looked like that engine's smoking right at the right time when the checkered flag drops. So hopefully that's not something terminal for them or something that they got to change before Lime Rock. But what a race.
Yep. Yeah, Lime. It is smoking heavily, isn't it? That's not good. You don't tell him he's blown the engine at the last moment, has he?
You may tell me there's some good luck right there. I mean,
Gosh.
That's something shining on your shoulders for sure.
Well, Doug Peterson's going to be taking a big sigh at the moment. Well, there's no question, for me anyway, the chill-out moment of the race has to be Rafa Matos. He did it in style when he took the lead, and here it is.
Yeah, that turn 11 pass. He looks like he's coming from a mile back, Adrian. Have you seen this pass?
Haven't seen it yet, nope.
Here we go. Coming into 11, Matos just doesn't break by the looks of it. And that is our chill-out moment, no question about it. Matos taking the lead and taking a big surprise, I think, for those in front of him. And into the pits he comes. And I don't know how good a condition that car's in, but he's won the race, and that's all that matters.
It's always a pretty car in victory lane. Always a pretty car.
So, my thanks to Adam Andretti and Adrian Lostofsky, and of course Ben Sissel, and more action to come from the rest of today, and of course we've got a full day tomorrow as well. But there is your all-yellow Brazilian and American winner, and I think we're going to get a smiling face of Rafa in a moment.
He's not Brazilian anymore. He's
no,
American.
That's true, but he's got the Brazilian flag. So he's got a little Brazilian flag and a big American flag.
That's right. That's absolutely right. But well-deserved win. You know, he drove a flawless race, absolutely flawless. A lot to be proud of, that's for sure.
Well, like so many Brazilians before him, certainly in Indy, which is where he started, they've made a name for himself here in America, and you know, good on them. There's so many that have come here. Pippo Durrani, so many others. You know, it's great to have them here. John Claggett, one of the first to congratulate them, the president of Trans Am. He'll get that he'll get that helmet off as soon as we can. We'll see that big smile. Well done to Rafa.
He was riding his motorized skateboard around. I was like, man, you know, you're a brave man that's gonna be on that thing. You know, you got a shot at this thing this weekend. He looked at me, gave me a little wink. He goes, I got more than a shot. So,
okay.
So he went into this with a lot of confidence. He knows this track really well. He's had success here in other series. So I think when they put Laguna on the calendar for the national championship, he chomped at it.
All right, well, let's head down to Ben Sissel. He's got our winner, Rafa Matos.
Oh my goodness, what a race. And I know that this one means a lot to you, and I don't know if you've seen it, but your car came in smoking. How in the world did you do it?
Man, I don't know. In the last 5 laps, the water temperature started rising and the oil temperature got to 385. Water temp was 250 and I was losing power, and I saw my skin catching me, and I just put my head down, and you know, I had a big enough gap that I was able to manage that, the loss of power, but it's just a very emotional win for us. It's my 11th win in Trans Am, my 10th win with Doug Peterson's team, three-dimensional service group, and a very emotional one. You know, I never won a race here in Laguna Seca. This place is beautiful. I love California.
I love it. Now, a couple things different on your car that we noticed. The American flag on the top, and then you got to talk about this too.
Yeah, this is my dear cousin, who unfortunately passed away last month due to COVID-19, and we're paying a tribute to her, Mariana. We loved her so much, and this is just a little thing that we hope that she's seeing from up there.
Nice. Rafa Matos, congratulations. One more question, if you don't mind. How did you do that pass? You just seem to know that you had the confidence to hold on there.
Good job, bud.
Thank you. Well, you know, that was pretty much a go-kart pass. You know, I tried to surprise those guys in a place that they wouldn't expect me to pass them, and fortunately it worked. And I had a good enough pace that I could pull away and survive on those restarts. Just a really proud moment for the Peterson Racing team. And we couldn't do this without three-dimensional service group support, and you know, really thankful and really honored to be here today.
Great battle, great for the points with Mike Skeen and Rafa Matos, as Mike Skeen's talking to Thomas Merrill. But Jonathan, I'm going to send it back up to you, buddy. Another great TA2 race.
Yeah, and I think summed up brilliantly. And yes, our thoughts go out to Mariana Nunes de Paula, that of course the cousin of Rafa, who he was racing for, lost to, sadly, COVID, but he has raced on her behalf and dedicated that race to her. Rafa Matos then with the win in the Ford Mustang three-dimensional services. Mike Skeen in second place in the Chevy, Thomas Merrill third, Edward Savagian, Sam Mayer, good race by him, Tyler Casera likewise, Michael Self seventh, Borchetta eighth, Tim Lynn in ninth position, and Brad McAllister rounding out the top 10. First in the West Series, Tim Lynn. Good stuff by him, beating Brad McAllister there. It was a go-kart pass. That's what Borchetta, that's what Matos said it was, and it really did look like that, because he took them by surprise, and sometimes that's what you got to do. But let's take a look back at what was a dramatic 100 miles of racing. And it all started off in the bright sunshine with a 2x2 start. And it was Mike Skeen who took the lead, but then Merrill at the inside stole it back, and then Rafa Matos. We had the first caution with Michele Abate. Then look at this, the 28. Very, very wide indeed, and somehow getting it back on course. Sadly, Doug Peterson out, but meanwhile, Rafa Matos was running good. Mosak comes in to change some tyres after that off, and likewise Connor Sam Mayer also going wide as well. Look at this, side-by-side action at the corkscrew as Skeen goes through a very, very good move, but it was Rafa Matos who takes the win in Monterey.